Hello everyone, so I wanted to make a quick video about some tips, tricks and scams to avoid in Thailand. I went there in May 2022 and I have here a list of a couple of things that I want to share, and maybe this will help anyone that's trying to plan their trip to Thailand. So in my trip to Thailand, I visited Bangkok, Koh Yai, PP Islands, and Tavi Reli Beach. And so this list is based on my experiences going around these places or these locations. Starting with tip number one, I would say is to have cash with you, especially when you're going around all of these islands and you want to eat at local restaurants. Most of them will only accept cash. Of course, when buying souvenirs, they will only accept cash, and if you want to negotiate, it will be easier that way. Also, when buying tours, we only saw options of buying them with cash. We did not see any the card machines with them at the counter, so bring cash with you. And in terms of how easily we can find ATMs around the islands, in PP Islands it was super easy. There are a lot of ATMs around the island. In Reli Beach, I think I saw maybe one or two. And in Bangkok, it's super easy also to find ATMs. So I believe every 7-Eleven has an ATM. So we always went to the ATM that was in the 7-Eleven near to our hotel, and it worked really well. We used the Revolut card, and we had to always pay a fee of 600 baht. I believe it was that amount, 600 baht for every withdraw. Yeah, that's it. Okay, now for tip number two, use Grab. So when you arrive in Thailand, install the Grab app, which is like Uber and Uber Eats in the same application. You can call a Grab to pick you up from the airport. It's super cheap, and you don't have to be negotiating with the taxi drivers. Order a car to pick you up and they will be there. You can also order food, and they also had promotions inside the app for your future car drives. And so, yeah, it was super cool. Especially in Bangkok, every time we wanted to go to a restaurant, a different part of the city, we always used Grab, and it worked super well. And now that we are speaking about Bangkok, I would warn you about this scam. And I guess this is also a tip, don't fall for this scam. I've seen people talk about this on TikTok, and that's when I figured that what we went through was a scam. So, story time. It's all me and my boyfriend. We wanted to visit the Grand Palace. And so we went there in the morning, took a Grab, and he basically left us, I would say, in the back of the Grand Palace. And I was like, I started sussing things out because there was not a lot of people around. There was only a little entrance and only one guard, and I did not see any tourists around. So I already was suspicious. And so I went to talk to the guard man, and he was like, "Oh, today until 1 p.m. The palace is closed because it's a national holiday and people are praying until 1 p.m. So the palace only opens after 1 p.m. And I was like, okay, I guess. I did not research about public holidays in Thailand before coming. So I was like, well, that makes sense, I guess. And so me and my boyfriend were around. I was on my phone trying to figure out, okay, where are we going until 1 p.m.? And then, a miracle, a guy came up to us and he was like, oh, for, I don't know how much, but it was quite a cheap price. Oh, for this price, I will take you on my tuk-tuk around the city. I'll take you to 2 temples, and I'll also take you to a store for you to shop for things. And if you guys accept this, it would be really helpful for me because the government is basically funding these trips, and if I take you on this trip and get stamps on my thingy, the government will also pay for my gas or for my petrol. And we were like, well, I guess if the palace is closed and you are giving us a really low amount for you to take us around the city. I guess we will take your ride. And so we did, and basically they took us, or the guy took us to like a palace, not really anything spectacular. He took us to a shop to buy like suits and ties and bows. And I was like, what the hell am I doing here? He took us to a jewelry shop where you could buy rings, necklaces, bracelets. But yeah, so they took us around all of these places, and then lastly, they took us back to the Grand Palace. And I was like, why the hell did we do this? Like, okay, it was cheap and I could see the city when he was going to take us through these places, but like, it didn't sound right, you know? And then like 2 months ago, I saw a TikTok of the girl talking about this Bangkok scam, Grand Palace scam, and I was like, no way that happened to us. And so, yeah, don't follow for this scam. If they tell you the Grand Palace is closed, it's not. And I don't know why the Grab guy took us to the back of the palace. Maybe they are all working together for this scam. Because when we in fact came back and he took us back to the Grand Palace, he did not took us to the back of the palace. He took us to the right entrance. And it was full of people, full of tourists. And I was like, why did the first guy, the Grab guy, why did he not took us to this entrance? So like, they are working together. Like, don't be fooled like we were. Okay, I guess fourth tip, eat at local restaurants. The food is super yummy, super cheap. The people working there are so nice. We had no problems in terms of getting sick from the food or getting some type of intoxication or virus or bacteria, like nothing. It was super, super amazing to be able to experience like the local restaurants, being able to eat super delicious food and pay cheap money for that experience. So eat at local restaurants. Of course, like, do your research. The restaurants have good reviews. If not, I actually did my research. And so we had no problem eating at the places that I had on my list. And they were all local restaurants. Okay, guys, next tip. Don't buy mosquito repellent at home if you are going to Thailand. Buy it in Thailand and buy this one. This is like the best thing invented on earth, I believe. So you can buy this. I only found it in the 7-Elevens on the islands, so I did not find this in Bangkok, but there's like no bugs in Bangkok for what I've experienced. And I don't know if they sell it at other like drugstores or local supermarkets, but I saw this at the 7-Elevens, and this is the best mosquito repellent to ever exist. It has like the deep thing, but it's like formulated in a way that doesn't stink. Oh my god, I swear, this smells so good. It's so easy to apply. You don't feel like your skin is sticky, and you don't intoxicate the room that you are applying this in. Like, I swear to God, this is the best thing ever. I hope this works for Mexico. And if this works in Mexico, girl, I'm going to Thailand just to buy this. Bottles and bottles and bottles. I don't know why I left without buying a new bottle. So this is the big bottle, and this is what I came back with. So I have this much left, and I hope this works and that it lasts for Mexico. I swear, this is so good and it smells so nice. Like, this could be body fragrance. I'm not joking. Like, if all mosquito repellents were like this one, the world would be better, I believe. And it's super cheap as well. How much did this cost? Maybe like 4 euros? Converting like 4 euros, 5 euros, and this lasts. Like, I was in Thailand for 2 weeks and a half, and I still have this left. And I applied it several times a day when I felt it was necessary. I regret not buying like 5 of them straight away and bring them back with me. But if this works for Mexico, I'm going back to Thailand just to buy this. just to buy this. Okay, this next one I talked about on my video, like how much money did I spend for my trip to Thailand. I'll leave it here. It's a tip on where not to stay on the Phi Phi Island. So we stayed at the Phi Phi, the beach resort, and I will leave a map here. Don't stay there. That's all I have to say. Don't stay there if you don't want to be climbing hills to get to the city. Why? Because going to this part of the Phi Phi Islands, so from this hill forward, what's going to happen is when you come to Phi Phi Islands, they will pick you up on a boat and take you to your hotel. But when you are already in the hotel and you want to go grab something from the city center, or you want to go eat at the local restaurants, what do you expect is, okay, I can take a boat taxi, and they will take me to the city center. What happened was we stayed there for, I believe, 5 days. And only on the first day, the sea was like calm and they could do those trips. On the other 4 days, the sea was really harsh, and I believe there's like a problem with the rocks in the ocean, and at night they can't see the rocks, and so basically it's not safe. If you want to go to the city center, what we had to do is go walking all the way this area, to go to the city center. The problem here is this damn hill. At first, you don't know what you are climbing, how high it is, how steep it is, and you are hearing all of these sounds. You don't know what they are. Are they monkeys? Are they mosquitoes? What are they? It's just a mess, and I'm not in Thailand on my vacation to be climbing hills and being scared for my life. That's why I'm saying, if you are staying in Phi Phi Islands and you plan to stay on this area where like the beach is super awesome, like that, I can't complain. The beach is super beautiful, the water is beautiful. But my advice and what I will do next time I'll go to Phi Phi Islands is I will stay before this hill, because the boats will take you to this beach before the hill. But after that, you have to go on foot. The boat would take us up to before this hill, and then we would have to go down the hill and then go all the way to our hotel. And I'm not doing that. So next time in Phi Phi, this hill backwards, that's where you want to stay. And that's where I will stay. Okay. Next and final tip. When it comes to buying souvenirs and maybe going on a tuk-tuk, always negotiate the price before buying the stuff or before going into the tuk-tuk, because they will most definitely lower the price and you will get a much more value for what you are getting. But don't do it with the tours. Why? Because it's not necessary, because they all do the same price. We went, especially in Phi Phi Island, we went around the island trying to find the lowest price, and they all gave the same price. So I believe if this is not regulated by the government, they must have some agreement between all of the tour counters, because they all did the same price, including the guys that took us from Koh Yao Yai to Phi Phi Islands. Like, we made a friendship with them, and we were like, oh, like, what's the price for the tours? You know, what's the price for the tours? And they gave the same price. So I believe the tours must be regulated in Phi Phi Islands and in Railay Beach. That was our experience. They all gave the same price and they did not go lower than that. So if you're staying at a resort where you can put things in your rooms and then you pay at checkout, always make sure to review the amount and make sure it's the correct amount, because what happened to us at our Koh Yao Yai resort is that the bill was much higher than what we were expecting, and we were like taking count, because we are not here to waste our money. And if I did not enjoy a super good meal, it's because I wanted to save money and y'all are not about to scam me. So What happened to us is that the bill was a much higher amount. And once I identified that, I was like, oh, can I check the receipt? And so they gave us all of the receipts. And I believe what saved us is that every time you make an order, you have to sign like on the application that they had at this hotel. And so I believe that when I told them, this is not ours, this one is not ours, this receipt is not ours, I believe they went through the signatures and they saw, okay, these ones do not match her signature. And so they gave us the correct amount to pay at the end. So I don't know if this had anything to do with the hotel, if there were people basically doing this, going there to eat and then put their food bill on someone else's room. I don't know what happened. I just know that at the end, everything went well. We paid the right amount and everything was okay. But always check your checkout bill at your hotels. And lastly, if you are in Raleigh Beach and you want to go to the Krabi airport, one thing that I noticed is that the hotels give you, pay us, I believe it was 1,300 baht. And we will plan like the taxi boat for you to get to the right dock, and then from there a shuttle or a taxi to take you to the airport. And so those 1,300 baht were so expensive compared to what we actually paid. So they wanted 1,300 baht per person for them to plan our trip back to the airport. And myself and my boyfriend did that on our own. So we talked to the taxi boat guy to ask him how much it would cost for the trip from Raleigh Beach to the dock, to the right dock. I don't remember the name. And he told us it would be 100 baht per person and that the boat would leave when 6 people were in the boat. So, and then I went to the Grab app, basically estimated how much it would cost from the dock to the airport, and it would be like 400 baht. We decided to pay for the 6 people for the boat, so the guy would take us when we wanted. And then once we got to the dock, the plan was to take a Grab taxi, but I did not find a Wi-Fi there. So basically a guy that had his van around the dock, he was like, oh, where are you guys going? And we were like, oh, we are going to the airport. We are going to the airport with the Grab taxi. And he was like, oh, how much are they charging? And we were like, 350. And he was like, oh, I will call my friend and he will take you guys for 300 baht. And we're like, say no more. Okay. And then his friend came with a super nice van. The vans there are super decorated and everything. So he took us, we were the only ones in the van, and it was super nice. It was a smooth drive to the airport. And so the total of us going back to the airport from Raleigh Beach was 900 baht compared to what the hotel wanted, which would be in total 2,600 baht. Girl, you're not scamming me, except the guys in Bangkok. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This was my list of tips and tricks that I would love to have listened to before going on my trip to Thailand. Other than that, the country is amazing. The people are super nice. Everything is super cheap. If I could, I would go yearly to Thailand, no doubt. Okay, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.